Okay, so Wolves drew 1-1 today at the Bet 365 Stadium against Stoke City in what I thought was probably the best preseason game so far in terms of, an actual spectacle. The lineup came out an hour before, and it kind of annoyed Wolves Twitter, which I know isn't it's quite an easy thing to do, but it was a very Nuno game actually. Five at the back, Neves and Moutinho in midfield, kind of just hoping Adam would do something in the first half, conceding first from a corner and then coming back into it later on. But I mean, I'm joking a bit. Like it wasn't. It was actually quite a decent performance, bar the final touch. I don't think it helped that Stoke were also playing this exact same system, so it kind of felt a bit like we're cancelling each other out, right? I don't have an issue with Wolves playing five at the back under Bruno Lage. It worked for 3 years under Nuno, and it only really stopped working because of injuries and because of Raul Jimenez, who, by the way, was amazing today. Look, just because five at the back didn't work for last season doesn't mean it can't work this season. It works under other managers. It'd be like dating a girl who's blonde, right? And then she cheats on you, and then you get with another girl who's blonde, and then think she's going to be the same just because she's also got the same hair color. It's not how it works. Just because you play five at the back in another system under another manager doesn't mean it's going to be the same as the one before. I thought Marcel playing was interesting. He's clearly a Bruno Lage favourite. Obviously, Ait Nouri's played a lot, but it's kind of been out wide, right? And we kind of thought that was just based on injuries and kind of having to play Ait Nouri further forward. But Marcel seems to be the guy, which surprises me to be honest. I think Ait Nouri's a better all-rounded footballer. Not that Marcel was bad, by the way. It just feels like if we want to kind of become a bit more expansive, you kind of need Ait Nouri. Maybe that's just because the Adama's in front of him and he feels like Adama won't do the tracking back. But I thought Adama was great. In the first half, he was our only out ball. It felt like, well, not out ball. It felt like he was our only ball progressor. He was the only guy that was carrying the ball up the pitch. So we know Ruben Neves and Jan Moutinho won't do that. Obviously, the goal happened. I thought Mosquera had a bit of a shaky game. He was still fine. Don't wrong. There's nothing wrong with him, but he had a bit of a drop off. Connor Cody was a bit shaky as well, but it's his first game. No one has an issue with that. I thought Roman Sey's actually probably the best player on the pitch, actually, surprisingly. But obviously the goal happened from your boy Danny Bart. What a guy! The corner thing's starting to become a bit of a concern. This side still lacks a bit of height for me, but I'm sure that's something that will kind of come on. I'm sure that's something that's still being worked on. Right, I thought Trincao had his best game in a Wolves shirt. He was linking up better. I still think he needs to kind of take a bit more emphasis. He's not at Barcelona anymore. He's got to be kind of the main man here. Just take some responsibility. I thought his link up was a lot better. He probably needs to bulk up a bit. He does go to ground very easily. Like the penalty in the second half, or the kind of the appeal. It wasn't a penalty. I don't know why Chris Aluma was so passionate about it. It was never a penalty. But then obviously Raul Jimenez scored. Great play from Nelson Semedo. Happy to see Nelson Semedo playing well, playing a bit further forward. I love Nelson Semedo. I think he's amazing. It's nice to see him doing well. And then obviously I think everyone was happy when Raul Jimenez scored. And it kind of eased the tensions a bit, right? Second half came in. Morgan Gibbs-White came in at half time for Traore, which I think everyone expected, and Max Kilman came on. He was actually on the right for some reason. And I thought Morgan Gibbs-White did what Morgan Gibbs-White always does. He creates stuff. Obviously, he's a bit frustrating, but I feel like that's just kind of what happens when you play in that position. I don't feel like that's something you can really hold against him. He was linking up really well with Raul Jimenez. He went on a couple of really good runs. And I still don't like him off the left. I still feel like he's better in central areas. But I suppose if he gives the ball away out wide, at least it's in a less dangerous position, But it's nice to see Morgan Gibbs-White getting regular minutes. As much as Nuno said he liked Morgan Gibbs-White, he never really played him regularly. Whether it's central midfield, up front, on the wing, he never played him regularly. So it's nice to see him get some minutes. Then it wasn't really... Well, Danny Bart should have got sent off, by the way. Absolute disgrace he didn't get sent off for that. Then the Trincao pen happened. Wasn't a penalty. Should never have been a penalty. I agree with the referee. The one thing I did like about this game is... I know I was taking the piss about Nuno kind of being a very Nuno performance. But when we were dominating the ball and we were keeping Stoke back, it felt like it wasn't just possession for possession's sake. There was some games last season where we had the ball for long periods of time, but it was kind of just, it was Cody would get it, he'd knock it out to Semedo, Semedo would look up, realise there was no one there, pass back to Sace or Cody, it would go forward, Moutinho would look up, realise there's no one there, it would come back. It didn't really feel like that. It felt like there was actually some sort of coherent plan, albeit it wasn't always coming off. And that's probably where you want Trincao or Morgan White to have a bit more end product. But that's something that will come. Dendoncker came on the second half. I thought it was his best game in a Wolves shirt for probably about a year and a half. I don't rate Dendoncker that highly. I think he's been bad for about a year and a half. But this is the first game where I actually saw him pick up the ball and go on a run and take some people on. That's my issue with Dendoncker. I feel like he's very... He can't take people on, but he doesn't have the... And neither can Moutinho and Neves, but at least they have actual passing ability. But Dendoncker, I thought this was his best game in ages. He was taking people on, he was getting in good areas. He wasn't wasteful with the ball, he was offering physicality. Look, sometimes things get stale. Maybe just Dendoncker just needed a refresh. Maybe he needs to get away for a bit. And I thought Moutinho was great again. I think out of the three midfielders that played, Ruben Neves probably was the worst of the three. And yeah, it was a pretty solid game. I thought Sace was the best player on the pitch. I think you can tell that the intensity's going up against a pretty decent Stoke side who, are a bit ahead of us in pre-season. But I think there's only real positives to take from this game. I thought Catrone came on and did pretty well as well. Fabio Silva looks like he's getting a bit frustrated for me, which is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But he didn't really have the impact you'd want. But yeah, that's all I have to say on the game. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and yeah, peace.